Oh boy, oh boy. I need a break. Downstairs in my studio, I've got a band. We've been in there now for about 2.5 hours. In the first 2 hours, the vocalist has already taken 3 breaks. The band's manager, well, he's called about every 20 minutes just to check and see how things are going so far. The bass player can't seem to remember his bass lines, and the drummer is getting frustrated at the bass player, and the lead guitarist is just completely frustrated with everything that's going on. They come into the control room and they're peeking over my shoulder at every little thing that I'm doing once we finish a track. It's really turning into chaos. You've been there. You've experienced this before, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's that one studio session where you lose complete control, or come close to it. There's no structure left, and it's slowly deteriorating into chaos. But today, I'm going to show you 5 power moves that will help you to eliminate the chaos, that will help you to regain structure during that session, and above all, it will probably help you to keep that chaos from ever beginning in the first place. Let's get started. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. And keeping in mind that these power moves are actually psychological weapons that you're going to use in your recording studio from here on in. The first power move I refer to as the single pass commitment. Now, what is the single pass commitment? It's very simple. Here's what a lot of engineers do. They're sitting in the recording studio in their control room, and they have the client in there with them, and maybe the producer or the manager is sitting there next to them, and they're going over a certain section of a song. So what do? You pick out 8 bars, maybe 4 bars, and you loop them in your DAW, and they just continue to play over and over and over. And you're sitting there and you're listening intently. And the manager is on this side of you, and the producer is on this side of you, and they're looking at the DAW, and they're looking at you, and you're letting this thing play over and over again, and you're turning this knob and turning that knob and maybe adjusting the fader a little bit, and you're making all these moves. Time is passing by. The manager and the producer on either side of you is looking at you now like, does he even know what he's doing? This is taking too long, and I'm paying for this. That single pass commitment eliminates that problem. And here's what you do. Instead of letting that one part of that song loop endlessly over and over again while you sit there and tweak this and tweak that, hit play and let it play once. Just once. And after that one playthrough, reach for a knob and move it. You're done. Now, you might be saying to yourself, that looks really good, but did it actually solve anything? And here's the important part to remember. The answer is probably not. But here's the part that this guy over here and this guy over here don't know. You're going to come back to it later. And you're going to fix it later when there's nobody in your control room and they've gone home for the day. But what you did, that power move, what you just did was show confidence. You just showed the 2 people sitting next to you in that control room, you knew exactly what needed to be done, and you didn't hesitate. You moved that knob, and you were done. No endless tweaking, no endless looping in the DAW of that same 4 or 8 bars. You only had to listen to it once, and you knew exactly what needed to be done. That's a power move. Okay, let's move on to power move number 2. And this one I call the walk back. You're sitting in the control room, and again, you've got the manager on this side, you've got the producer on this side, and you've got the band back there behind you. And everybody's watching what you're doing, and they're all zooming in. They are focused in on one tiny detail. The bass player is saying one thing, the drummer is saying another thing, the lead guitarist is saying another thing, the manager is saying another thing, the producer is saying another thing. They are laser focused on this one tiny detail that you already have the answer to. And you know that you can fix this in less than a second if everyone would just let you do your job, the job that they're paying you to do. But they have their opinions, and you want to let them voice their opinions, you want to let them talk, but you have to maintain control in that situation. Here's the power move, the walk back. Without saying a word, stand up, step away from the console, and walk to the back of the room. And just stand there with your hands behind your back. What are you signaling? Well, at first, they may think he just needs a break. He's about as frustrated as everybody else in this room is. Or they may think maybe he's taking his time to contemplate what needs to be done next. What you've done actually, you have separated yourself from that single minded mindset that's going on right in the front of the room, right there in front of the console, with everybody doing this back and forth, and coming to no decisions. You have now separated yourself from that, and you are now looking at the forest. You know the old saying, you can't see the forest for the trees? When you do the walk back move, you can now see the forest for the trees. You've separated yourself from the noise, and you just stand there for about 30 seconds. Don't say a word, and then calmly walk back, make a quick adjustment on the console, or physically, or I should say audibly say, here's where we're going now, and do it. Here's what happened. In that 30 seconds that you walked to that back of the room, all of a sudden, everything got quiet. Because they're thinking either he's as frustrated as we are, or he's back there thinking. That's a psychological move. But when you come back to that console and you audibly say, here's the fix, here's what we're going to do, and then you do it, that's governance. And that's power move number 2. Okay, let's move on to power move number 3. And power move number 3 is pretty similar to power move number 2, but there is a difference, and it's called controlled silence. Silence is golden. Silence commands attention. Silence is powerful. There's a Bible verse that talks about the tongue and what a loose tongue can do to a person. And that can be applied through any walk of life, anywhere in life. The power of the tongue is very real. The power of silence is even more powerful. While everybody in the room is looking at you and trying to decide, make a decision, and helping you decide what to do, don't say a word. Let them say what they have to say. But at some point, you have to break your silence and make that command decision. Here's what most studio owners will do, and most people in the control room will do. The audio engineer is sitting there and he's listening to everybody, and he says to them, yeah, that's a good idea, or yeah, let's try that take again, or yeah, I think you're right about that. Maybe we'll try it that way. Always happens. Instead of doing that, do this. Wait at least 15 seconds. And then say your piece. That controlled silence just told everybody in the room, I'm the man in here. I'm going to listen to what you have to say. And I'm going to take your input. But when it comes to push and shove, what eventually ends up happening is going to be what I know as an audio professional is the best move here. And there are 100 different ways that you can say that. Find a way to say it dependent on the personality of the person that you're dealing with, because I can't tell you exactly what to say because every person is different. So you have to weigh their personality. But just say that after the controlled silence. Power move number 4, and I call this one destroying the safety net. What is that safety net and why are we destroying it? The safety net is very simple. Let's just do it again. Let's try it this way this time. Let's do this. Let's do that. There's safety in having options. But when you have too many options, that becomes a problem. And before you know it, 1 hour has gone by and there's been no progress. You have to destroy that safety net of infinite revisions and too many options. When something is done, you say, let's print it, let's move on, and let's move on to the next piece of this project. Done. Done. You have just destroyed the safety net of having too many options available to everyone in that room. Because believe me, they're going to use every one of the options that they have available to them, unless you cut it off. Destroy the safety net. I want to use this microphone. No, you know what? Maybe I'll use it. Here's the microphone you're going to use. Destroy the safety net of those infinite options available. You are the professional. You know what that vocalist sounds like. You know what the acoustics in the room are because it's your room. You know what microphone is going to work best for that vocalist. And you hand it to him and you say, here's the microphone you're going to use. Conversation's over. You've destroyed the safety net of having too many options. Okay, let's move on to power move number 5. And I have used this so many times and it is so effective. You're going to love this one. I call this one the tactical gear engagement. Now, you've got compressors and you've got EQs and you've got all this gear in your studio sitting there in the control room, and everything looks great and looks fancy and looks sexy to everyone, and everyone's impressed with all the gear that you have. But let me tell you something. When it comes to governance, when it comes to maintaining control of everything that's going on in that recording studio, it's not the EQ, it's not the compressor, it's not the power amp that you're using, it's not the monitors that you're using, it's not that $60,000 console that you have. It's this. Headphones. Let me explain why. Whenever a critical decision has to be made, there comes a point in time where people have a certain ritual that they do, a certain thing that they do. You see it all the time. You see it in sports. Airplane pilots do it. Athletes do it. Doctors do it. They have this certain ritual that they go through before they make a critical decision. Now, it can be something physical, or it can be something mental going on inside that you never see. But they go through that ritual because they know this is a critical decision that's about to be made. And I have a way of creating balance so that I know once I make this decision, I've made the right decision. Now let's get back to the headphones. You're about to make a critical decision as far as this recording is concerned. This has nothing to do with the client. Their input doesn't matter here because you are the professional. This is a critical decision, and everyone is relying on you to make the right decision. They're not going to offer their input. They're paying you, and this is what you get paid for, to make that critical decision. If you've already made up your mind as to what that decision is, Or if you haven't, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take your headphones, put them on, lean back, close your eyes 10 seconds, and literally count it down in your head. 10 seconds of complete silence. And when you're done, remove the headphones. Don't look at anybody. Do what has to be done. That's powerful. You just showed everyone you don't operate off the hook. You don't do things on impulse. You take your time and you think things through. That move right there commands a lot of respect. People see that you don't act impulsively, that you don't just try things and see if it works. You've taken 10 seconds before you made that critical decision to think it through and then commit to it. That tactical gear engagement, again, it's not your EQ, it's not your compressor, it's not all the other fancy gear that you have in the room. That tactical gear engagement is right here, your headphones. By simply putting those headphones on, you've just sent a very powerful signal to everyone in that room. Structure is the most important thing that occurs in your recording studio during a session. Structure, balance, the ability to make decisions, the willingness to take command and stay there. When you have too much going on, chaos is sure to ensue pretty soon. When you have things in control, it usually stays that way. And it will stay that way if you follow those 5 power moves I just gave you. Constantly tweaking and constantly making changes and infinite revisions will kill a recording session. You have to take command. Verbally, physically sometimes, I've gotten there once or twice, physically sometimes, or psychologically. Because infinite revisions, the inability to make a decision, is a studio killer. And that's why I wrote the book, The Cost of Infinite Revisions. Because there is a cost to constant tweaking. There is a cost to being indecisive. It could be a cost to the client who now booked 4 hours and the session has turned into 6 because decisions were never made or the wrong decisions were made and you had to go back and change something. Or it could be a cost to you, the studio owner. The client sitting there and saying, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. This guy wastes too much time. This guy doesn't know how to make a decision. That's costing you a client. That's costing you a return client. That's costing your reputation as a reputable audio engineer. The Cost of Infinite Revisions is available on Amazon. Sold a few copies so far. It just came out a few months ago. It's selling pretty well. Getting some good feedback on my website from people who've read it. Well worth the price on Amazon. The Cost of Infinite Revisions. Because time in the studio, properly managed time in the studio, is very important. Until next time, always keep this in mind. Never, ever let session fog take over your recording studio session. Stay safe out there. Keep recording. Keep being creative. Keep doing what you're doing. And I'll see you next week.